Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Josh. I'm here from Meridian today. We're going to get started here in just about one more minute. I see some more people are joining, so I'm going to give everybody a few seconds just to continue joining, and we'll get started here within the next few seconds. All right, looks like we've got a few more people that have joined again. My name is Josh Edwards. I am the software support engineer for MzeroManage, our cloud-based software for use with the PMK, or also known as the Personnel Management Kiosk. Just want to take a minute to thank everybody for joining today. If you joined us last week, welcome back. If you are a new viewer, we're so glad that we have you here. We will be taking some questions at the end of the presentation, so we're going to move right along. All right, so Personnel Management Kiosk. What is the Personnel Management Kiosk? The Personnel Management Kiosk is essentially a device that allows you to take the temperature of a user, individual. It could be an employee, could be a guest, could be used in the education realm for taking temperature of students and staff, teachers as they enter your facilities. On your screen here, you'll see we have a couple different styles of device. So I'll start off on the left. So we do have a pedestal version. This is a standard height. This is about the average height of your typical adult. This device can be placed outside of a door or entryway. It can be used inside of an office setting. There's a lot of different uses for the device. Why we have this in these uncertain times that we're in, we need to make sure that individuals have a good temperature and that they're not exposing others to potential infections. It's a very serious matter here, and we definitely understand that, which is why this device is very instrumental in not only detecting temperatures or elevated temperatures, but also keeping a record of that, keeping a log of that. A lot of HR or even healthcare facilities, they need to know, they need to have proof positive that individuals are coming in, having their temperature screened, and then there's a record of that to prove that they are indeed above board. That being said, using this in an educational setting, we have a child height model. That's a little shorter. I've also talked to a few individuals who have our product out there in the field, and they love the child height one as well for individuals in nursing homes or senior care facilities. That's a really good height if an individual in a wheelchair needs to be scanned in, so that the child height, just make a mental note of that. Child height one is pretty good if you got a lot of individuals in wheelchairs, a lot of seniors who might have a walker or can't quite erect their spine all the way. Child height is excellent. Pedestal with LED, you get a nice added LED to it that illuminates upon successful scan and temperature. And then last but not least, we have the countertop and the wall bracket models. Wall bracket, you mount it on a wall. It's pretty straightforward. The countertop, this is perfect for reception, or maybe you have for lack of better words, you have a constant change in height. You need to move it here, you need to move it there. Countertop is excellent. It's nowhere near as heavy as the full-size pedestal model, so we would advise that if you need anything that's easy to use, easy to move. So you've got a kiosk, or maybe you're thinking about getting a kiosk. Maybe you need one, two, maybe you need 200. Well, we can help with that. MzeroManage is the perfect piece of software to allow you to control, monitor, update, or just play around with your kiosk if you're in testing right now, if you're getting ready to roll this out at your company or your place of work or your school. So the MzeroManage, specifically for the personnel management kiosk, is designed to work with that kiosk out the box. You authenticate it, you sign it up with your account, and you can remotely manage and use a lot of these great tools, a lot of these great features of the kiosk from one central location. Like I mentioned before, whether you got 1, 2, 3, or 200, no one wants to go around to 200 units and have to make the same setting change 200 times. That would drive any person mad. So that's where MzeroManage comes into play. This software allows you to make those changes and push them out to the device in the field. As long as you've got it on network and it's plugged into the wall and powered up, we can push that update down to the device, and you can make changes on the fly. Not only does that offer you the ability to make changes to specific parameters and settings and customizations, putting your logo in there, changing the name, having my test unit here in the office that I use in my test lab. It greets me by my name every morning. It says, welcome Josh, which is, you can customize that. It's definitely a customizable setting. But you get that opportunity to just take care of it from afar. Your IT guys don't even have to get up from their desk to make a change. It's excellent. So what can it do? Well, there's a lot of great things that this can do. Monitoring scans is definitely probably one of the biggest ones. You need a centralized location. You can just look and see, okay, are people scanning in? Have they scanned in? What's their temperature? Did Johnny over there in accounting, did he scan in today? Well, MzeroManage gives you that ability to query that data, to pull that data in, to take a look at that data without having to physically interact with the device. On the screen here, uploading and editing a list of employees and their pictures. Should you choose to use the facial recognition aspect of this to log guests, to log temperatures, to log reports and scans, you can edit in real time your employee database. We'll give you one centralized location to do so. You can put in one person, you could put in 1,000. The only limit is there's 20,000 individual face records. If you got more than 20,000 employees, we can work with you, we can split you up. Other than that, the biggest feature of this is a bulk upload. You might already have a spreadsheet or a comma separated value of most of the information you would need for the HR department, record keeping, payroll, etc. So with that data you have on hand, it's very easy to reconfigure that for a bulk upload. So you can, with a couple clicks of your mouse, upload the pictures, the names, employee ID, email addresses, access cards, anything you want for these individuals. You can put that in MzeroManage, you can get that uploaded, and your individuals, when they scan in, are all taken care of. The next best thing about that is to be able to send and receive reports. So if you need today's reports or you need a specific date range, pulling those reports is as easy as clicking a button and setting up the date. Not only are those reports handy, but the live stream, a lot of times I like to sit here when we're testing it and watch the dashboard and watch the scans of coworkers and everything like that as we test the units. You can see those pop up in real time. Depending on your network, depending on your internet service provider speeds and everything, I see about 3 to 5 seconds is about average. So within 3 to 5 seconds, you're alerted. You can see a picture, you can see a temperature, you can see a name. If you're using the email alerts, you'll get an email alert, snap, just like that. It also works in conjunction with the MzeroManage server, which is the more technical side of the software. That side allows you to see if the device is online, what internal network IP address it's pulling, firmware, is it up to date, all those things that your more technical users or whomever within your organization you've tasked with taking on the heavy technical lifting. That side of that allows you to see in one centralized location, hey, okay, this is online, this one's not online, this one's good, and then we can go from there and we can play IT man and go out in the field and see why it's not on the network, or did somebody kick it over, unplug it. So that's one centralized location, one portal to be able to do all that, to manage it, add employees. It's really a very cool, for lack of better words, portal to use. It's very easy. Once you get in, once you start using it, you'll just find that it's like any other simple website. You click, have fun, go through it. You'll find things in there that, oh, I didn't know I could do my logo. Oh, I didn't know I could, I could have it customize what it says, or it says their name on the screen. So it gives you a chance to brand it and to adapt it to your own settings. So I mentioned with the personnel and doing the onboarding, or doing the big upload of everybody, if you do use the facial recognition, there are some requirements. A term we like to use around here, especially from the sports side, is a passport photo. As you can see here on your screen, perfect example. I've got a neck, I've got a chin, got some ears, I can see a nose, I can see eyes, and I can see the top of the head. We really recommend getting the best quality profile picture. I'll refer to this as profile picture from now on. We really recommend getting the best quality profile picture that you can. Now, I'm not saying go out and buy a $700 digital single lens reflex camera by any means. Your Android phone, your iPhone, this day and age, 2020, most of them take a pretty good picture. They have a pretty good picture that they actually take. From here, it's all about the framing. We don't need a whole torso shot. We don't need something from 5-10 feet away. This example I've got right here is spot on. I need to see the face. I need to see the teeth. I need to see the smile. I need to see the lips, the nose, the eyes, the ears, the chin, the neck. The algorithm needs to be able to see these things so it can make an accurate recognition when your employees or your individuals come up and scan. So on the screen here is talking about zipping these files up. This is for the bulk upload. So when you're doing bulk upload, you gather all your pictures. You will tie the records together from your record set with the photo by using what we call the personnel ID, or the employee ID. If Kevin has a personnel ID of 1234, and you grab his picture, or you pull him aside, hey, Kevin, stand in front of this webcam, chink, take the picture, you name that 1234, perfect. When you zip that file up and you upload that, it's going to look 1234, okay, personnel ID, boom, this is Kevin. You're not clicking, you're not searching through, your desktop, you're not going through 20,000 different folders to try and get Kevin's photo and then manually add it to his record. Now, if you don't want to do bulk upload, you can do it record by record individually. You don't have to do a bulk upload every single time. What you can do is, if you get 300 people added, and then the day after, IT guy goes home, he's like, I'm tired, I don't want to do another bulk upload. You can add one individual off the bat, doesn't matter. You could add 100 that way. It is totally up to you. The bulk upload is provided there as an easier and quicker way to go ahead and get up and running and using the facial recognition with MzeroManage and the Personnel Management Kiosk. We've got a great knowledge base online. It is packed, jam-packed, full of some great articles, pictures, videos, how to do stuff, troubleshooting. A lot of it is so good that we, even as on the support side, will reference it just to make sure that we're telling you guys the right thing. It's an excellent resource base. I mean, it's just fantastic. I have it bookmarked on my own workstation here, and I reference it multiple times a day just because it is so well documented. So let's talk about MzeroManage. The green logo here that you see on your screen, sometimes on the support side we refer to it as the black and green portal. This is that more technically driven side that I was talking about. When you purchase a license for MzeroManage, and when you get set up with your Personnel Management Kiosk, this is the screen here that you will go to add. You'll add that device to the screen. You'll check to see if it's on the network. You'll set up your alerts, your email notifications, whether it's for a distribution group, whether it's for a specific person in HR that needs to know, okay, James Smith over here just got a failed temp. This is where you're going to go to set up the physical devices. This is where you're going to go to set up email alerts, create groups, set up permissions for individual users. This is, like I said before, this is more technical side of things, but this is at manage.meridiankiosks.com. This goes hand in hand with MzeroManage view. If you didn't add it here, you will not see it on the view side. MzeroManage view, jumping right into that. Couple first screens I showed you with the employee onboarding, getting the settings set up in the dashboard. This is exactly where this takes place. So MzeroManage view, this is where you can pull reports. This is where you can export those reports. You can view them on the screen. You can set custom date ranges, etc. The dashboard feature is also where, like I said, you can sit there and you can just watch the scans come in. Just here they come, here they come. Okay, you can sit there and watch people check in real time. I think that's neat. I mean, that could just be me. I could just be a big nerd. I am. But I think that's probably one of the neatest parts of it is as those scans come in, you get to see them, you get to see the face, the temperature, or if they pass fail. I do want to make a quick note. So one of the things that I mentioned before was recording of the face, the name, and the temperature. So we understand in some situations, some states, perhaps some employers might not want to have a name and a numerical value attached to an individual. Privacy concerns are paramount. I mean, I don't want my personal information out there any more than you do. So one of the biggest things that we have implemented just recently was we allowed for the binary Boolean value of pass fail. Now, if I lost you with those technical IT words, essentially what we've done is we've put a setting in the software that allows you as the end user to turn off the numerical value associated with an individual who scans in. This can alleviate what would be considered potential health data being exposed. Even though it's not health data, we're not at the doctor's office, we're not taking your temperature to give to your HMO or your insurance company, allowing you as the end user to switch off a numerical value associated with it. What I mean is I go in, I scan on my test lab, the way I have it set up, it says Josh shows me in there about 98.5, 98.7, right there on the money, kind of in between the statistical norm, and it will put that value on the screen, it will put that value in the record. You can turn that off to where it will just say good or bad, or more specifically pass fail. It's a 0 or a 1. It's on or off. You're good or you're bad. That is definitely possible. So you do not have a record tied to a name, a face, and a temperature. There's no quote unquote personal or sensitive data being recorded or stored or viewed. That was one of the requests we got. So before we go into questions, real quick, I just want to give you guys a couple updates that we've had. So if you're joining us again, or if you have some questions that are about to come up, go ahead and start thinking of those questions. Go ahead and get those. You can start submitting them. I just want to go ahead and give you guys a couple of the more recent updates that we did. So one of the biggest updates that we did was we worked very hard with the developers, and I just want to give a shout out to Paul and his team, our director of software, Paul, here at Meridian. He's an excellent guy. He's a hard worker, and he just knocks it out of the park. He'd throw anything at him, and he's going to get on it. So we implemented a tool to allow for force synchronization of the kiosk. What does that mean? So let's say you bought 2 kiosks. You've got 100 people in the cloud. You've got another building, and you say, I'm gonna need 2 more kiosks. So you call up, you get 2 kiosks. You add those to your license, and then you onboard those 2 kiosks. We created a simple tool that allows you to not only sync the employee information, to sync the settings with the kiosk, just one click starts pushing down from the cloud and keeps you up to date. It also allows you to reboot the device. So if you need to restart the app, whether you've updated or something, or you're pushing out another software update, firmware update, etc. One click, and you can very simply reboot the device. For those of you that are thinking about tying this in with access control, door poppers, or relays, the dry contact relay that is included and attached to the PMK, you can actually trigger that remotely. If you have a desk officer or a public safety officer or a security guard at the front, say for some reason they have to step away from the desk, and you guys are used to manually popping the door or hitting the little button underneath the door, go click, and you buzz somebody in, so to speak. Well, now you can do this remotely. You can actually test it, whether it's for testing purposes or you're maintaining a strict social distancing, they're behind plexiglass, etc. If they absolutely need to, that remote feature allows you to sync the device, allows you to open the door if using the dry contact relay, and it also allows you to reboot the software remotely, which is probably one of the biggest things that we have seen get reported that the end user, the customers are really loving. They love being able to click the sync button or being able to restart the app remotely, especially with those with large campuses, universities, schools, etc. So I could go on and I could go on until the cows come home about how awesome MzeroManage is, and how awesome it is when it's married and paired with the Personnel Management Kiosk. So I'm just going to stop talking for a few minutes, allow for some questions to come in. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, go ahead and start submitting them now. All right, got a couple questions rolling in. I'm going to let a few more and then I'll start going down the list. All right, I'll start taking some questions. Jason asked, when will M0 be available? Is there a way to be granted access to the beta? Excellent. So if you are already in talks with a reseller, you can go ahead and start the process of ordering it. It will be available Monday. It exits the beta period. As soon as you can get called, get on the list. I'm sure your reseller or any of the members of the sales team, sales@mzero.com, inquiries, questions, go ahead and send them that way, Jason. Unfortunately, there are only about 5 days left of the beta. It is closing soon, so we cannot get you on that. However, if you do have questions, please reach out to your reseller or a member of the sales team, and they'll be happy to get you set up. All right, let's see. When will the wall mounts and countertop mounts be available for purchase? As far as I know, you can go ahead and get those purchased right now. The other day, walking through our warehouse in our fabrication facility, I saw several of the child height models out there. Please contact a member of the sales team or your reseller to get that for sure. I'm more of a technical guy, but I have seen them out there in the fabrication facility. All right, let's see. What's next? Will there be an option in the future to add voice control with questions they can answer? That's pretty interesting, actually. Voice control. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Who's asking? Elizabeth. All right, Elizabeth. So essentially, you're, if I understand this correctly, and feel free to ask another question, correcting me if I misunderstood you. So you're speaking about voice control with questions they can answer. I'm guessing that would piggyback off to a lot of the self-questionnaires. When you come up and scan, have you been out of the country? Have you been in contact with someone who has been diagnosed or suspected or more than 3 symptoms? There is no discussion yet on voice control, but I can definitely, and I'll write that down right now. I'll send that over to the development team and we'll discuss that. My vendor can't give me purchase info. Okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that, Sean. Please reach out to someone here at sales@mzero.com, and they'll be happy to either hook you up with a reseller or go ahead and give you some information and get that rolling. So sales, SALES, at M, Z as in zebra, E as in echo, RO.com, MZero spelled out. Sean, okay, Sean, got another one from Sean. Does it work with masks? Yes. Excellent question. Let me do a little tangent here for you too. So there's actually a mask detection feature on the device. What that means is it will determine if the individual scanning is wearing a mask or not. And if you choose to program the device or to set the setting up for masks, it will actually reject the user from being scanned in and tell them to please wear a mask. So yes, it does work with masks. It also has a mask detection mode to remind individuals, hey, before you enter here, you got a great temperature, that's perfect, but you need to put your mask on. All right. Will my vendor have purchase information before August 31st? It depends on who your vendor is, Sean. Again, I'm just gonna, I hate to say it, sales@mzero.com. I would go ahead and reach out to them. They might be able to answer those questions about your vendor specifically. I don't have much to deal with the resellers and vendors, but I can definitely get you in contact with someone who will. If I already have the kiosk, is there an additional cost to add to the system? Yes, there is a yearly cloud license per unit. If you have one unit and you want to buy one license, you can do that. It's good for a year. It gives you the cloud access, gives you access to the API calls and some of that documentation. Please reach out to whomever you purchased the unit from. Whether it be a reseller or whether it have been us directly, please reach out to whomever you purchased the kiosk from. If you're in the same boat, we'll say that. If you're in the same boat as Sean and they don't have information on that, just reach out to anyone here. You can reach out to me. My email address is Joshua, Joshua, dot as in the period next to the question mark on the keyboard, Edwards, EDWARDS, at mzero.com. All right, let's see, I got a couple more here. If customer does not have MzeroManage yet, is there a way to extract a daily report from the kiosk? Sandy, yes. There's instructions on our knowledge base how to do this. You would need to access the pigtail connectors inside of the head unit, or actually down inside the stand that the head unit is attached to. Using your standard thumb drive that you can get at Walmart or even I'm even seeing them at Walgreens now. Your standard thumb drive, you can plug it in. Instructions are there. Use the included keyboard and mouse, and you can pull those reports as a XLSX or a CSV directly from the unit itself. I will tell you this much though, it is a lot easier doing it through Manage. You can't see, but I gave you the thumbs up. All right. Is facial recognition the only option to identify employees? Yes, currently at this time, that is the only option to identify from the scan. We could spend another couple hours on access control. Let me know if you need my email address again. Joe was asking that. Is facial recognition the only option to identify employees? We can discuss that further as far as access control, because that's a pretty deep rabbit hole to get down, but there are some workarounds for that, Joe. Can the distributors quote MzeroManage before it ends? before beta ends. Yes, if they're an authorized reseller of the software, the devices, by all means, go ahead and give them a call. Tell them you're interested if you're already dealing with a reseller. If they're unable to assist you, sales at mzero.com. One of our wonderful sales members will be happy to get you taken care of or point you in the right direction. Okay, I'm sorry I did not hear when the app will be available for sale or trial. The beta ends on the 31st, so this coming Monday, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 days from now, it will be ready to go. You can start placing orders. Certain authorized resellers are actually starting to take orders. So if you've got a reseller that you're used to working with, that you've already purchased the device from, or if you've purchased it from us directly, go ahead and reach out and they can go ahead and get this process started. That was Andreas. Are email notifications by device, or is it a global setting in M0 software? Looks like that was Brad. So Brad, are email notifications by device or a global setting in MzeroManage? All right, that's a fantastic question. So when I mentioned the server side of setting it up and adding groups, you can actually set up specific notifications for specific kiosks based upon the permissions that a particular user. So let's say, Brad, you're the main man in charge. Your company, your boss has asked you, okay, Brad, you're a smart guy. I need you to set up these 6 kiosks we got. You have an office on your quote unquote main campus. Then let's say you have an office across town. Well, your main campus HR person does not need to worry about the downtown office, or maybe they do. Let's pretend they don't. So you could actually assign the permissions to the HR lady from downtown, and then the guy that's doing HR at the main campus, he can only see one set, she can only see another. That would all be set up in the MzeroManage server side with users and account permissions. So if you say Jim can see kiosks A, B, and C, but Jennifer can only see D, E, and F, you can set it up. If those are the only ones they have permission for, those are the only ones that they will get alerts for. So you can narrow it down, or you can just do across the board. I want alerts for anybody, anyone that has a kiosk on my network. All right. Let's see. All right, so that was the last question. And I'm going to give it a minute here. See if any more come in. Oh, we got another one coming in right here. Let me see. Joe, what is Meridian's relationship with HP? HP is a reseller that we have partnered with. They can help you out with getting a kiosk. I think they have quite a few partners underneath them. So if you want to purchase through HP, go ahead and give HP a call. They can do software and they can do the physical kiosk. All right, any more questions? I'm going to give it another 30 seconds or so here, and I'll wait for a couple more to pop in. All right, got a couple more questions that popped in here. Joe, anything made in China? Let's see. Most of the fabrication takes place here, all the metal's bent, etc. I don't know the percentages off the top of my head, but most of everything is made here in our facility. Oh, no, that was the only question for him. Yes, I can't speak off the top of my head, but these days, most everything comes through there in some way, shape, or form. However, our facilities here, we take care of the steel, we take care of the powder coating, we do the final assembly, the programming, the flashing of it. It all takes place here in Aberdeen, North Carolina, in our beautiful facility. Will you be scheduling a WebEx to demonstrate the MzeroManage software live? We can do that. It is a little difficult with sharing screen cameras, but we can make something happen. We do have some videos that are coming up very soon. They were actually here the other day filming some things like that. So we're always updating the videos. We're always getting that together. There should be some videos online. If you go to meridiankiosks.com, you'll see the personnel management link across the top of the menu bar. In there are great resources with videos, pictures, etc. But Sandy, we will actually look at doing a live demonstration. Perhaps get a couple handy cams in here and go through that. So that's an excellent suggestion. We will definitely work towards that. Let's see. What is the lead time on a unit? I'm not sure off the top of my head right now, Brad. If you call sales, they would probably have that answer for you. I am the tech guy. Let's see. Is there a web service API available with this version? If you've got the license, definitely some API integration available. Shoot me an email and we can talk about that, or I can put you in touch with some of the developers and programmers with their tools. Sandy really wants that live demo. Okay, Sandy, I think we can do something about that. You're welcome, Sandy. All right, Sandy. What is my email again? All right, it's Joshua. It's in from the Old Testament of the Bible. Edwards, EDWARDS at mzero.com. I'm going to put that in the chat too for everybody, just so you can access that. All right. So I'm going to take another quick little pause and see if there's any other questions that come in. You guys got some great questions today. Anytime I have to write a question down to pass along, that's a great question. So I'm applauding right now. So I'll give you guys a few more seconds. If there's no more questions after this, then we're going to wrap it up. All right, Elizabeth, you sent me your email. Is there some data